I got back home and I wasn't killing myself. I wasn't going, ow, this hurts, I'm tired. And I said, okay, this year I'm going to sign up. It took a little while longer to actually sign the piece of paper and get my $100 over, but I did sign up for Act 5. I have committed myself to riding about 300 miles in 4 days. And part of that commitment is raising money. That's the bigger hill for me. I have been training since the 14th of this just past month, so I just recently signed up. I started training. I have ridden, as of today, a little bit over 270 miles on my bike. That is probably more miles I rode on the bike I'm riding for the trip than all of last summer. By the time August comes around, I will hopefully have ridden over 1,000 miles training for the ride. That will be more miles I've ever put on my bike or my body in 1 year. In case you're interested, I am 51 years old and it feels like a big challenge. I rode 40 miles a day. I have narrowed my tires. I put on clipless pedals, trying to get myself through the thing. And we rode about almost 40 miles a day, not quite, the last half of it in the rain. And we were coming back, and I really have trouble with hills. Hills are not my friend. They're just kind of big, and they stand out. And I kind of get up them kind of slowly. And I had no extra energy as we finished about the last 7 miles, and every hill was a challenge. Up the hill, and it felt like a long hill, no matter how small. And we were on the flat, and one of my ride mates, who was kind enough to ride at my speed and not her speed, you have to, as a newer rider, I think I'm a little slower than some of the experienced people. And I realized I was going about 13, 14 miles an hour on the flat, which is faster than when I started out just a few weeks ago on the flat for an extended period of time. So I was making progress. It just, on the hills, it didn't feel like it. On the flat, hey, okay, cool. So I still need to work on the hills. They're kind of big. One of those big hills is the fundraising. We have to raise $1,100 minimum. I'm trying for $2,000, and you are all here helping me meet that goal. As of this afternoon, I had $300 recorded already on the website from people who had given money before this. Two of them are George and Sabi. I don't know if you know Sabi from the Casbah restaurant downtown. He was one of those two gentlemen were the first two people to put the money on the line, as it were. My biggest donation actually came from a client from a subtle hint, and she donated $100. She's out of Arlington, Virginia. I have another $100 committed, and I have a committed one of an unknown amount, which will probably be my farthest away donation from Alaska, believe it or not. I have a friend I had lost track of. I sent email, believe it or not, to her UW Madison email address, and somehow it still tracks her all the way up in Alaska. So she's committed herself. So you're helping me with that big hill of raising money. I appreciate you coming out. I'm hoping you're enjoying the music, the beer, the wine. What's that?
The movie's great too.
The movie? What movie? I missed the movie. Anybody interested? How many people are familiar with the Revolution Bike Shop? Okay, I'm just going to do a little plug for Jeff Fitzgerald is the owner. He was kind enough to let me use the space this evening here for this event. They've been in here about 2 years now, I think, if I haven't lost track. And they fixed up the place really nice. The latest two additions are the stencil work here. One of their mechanics, actually ex-mechanics, his wife took him off to the East Coast. He came back for a week recently and did the stenciling up on the wall. For those of you who aren't aware, the front is new this year. A Bobcat driver was nice enough to try clearing the snow off in front and backed into the glass. The gentleman across the street, Martin Glass, owns the space physically and decided it was a good time to redo that. Speaking of the bike shop, they're not here, but two of the gentlemen who were working this afternoon, they were responsible for helping clean up the bike shop before they left for the day, so they stayed late. But they had other commitments and could not stay. One of them did stay long enough to enjoy at least 1 cup of beer. So I'm glad you're all here. For the people I know, thank you. For those of you who I've never ever met and came for the band, I really thank you for coming and putting your money in the pot, because I'm an unknown. If you're interested in the ride more, you can read about. I do have a website. If it's pretty easy to remember, it's act5.nevitssoftware.com. If you want help remembering Nevits software, Nevits is Steven spelled backwards. So if you're interested, yeah, well, hey. So if you're interested in how I'm doing, I actually have a blog on my own website you can read. Erin was telling me she's been paying attention to my notes and trials and tribulations of training rides. I'm recording each ride I do, how many miles, what my average speed is, and a little bit about how I feel. I'm not a particularly good rider, so some days I kind of have to push it. But it is out there. You can read about what you can also see how I'm doing on the progress. Sometime tomorrow I will take all the money that you've donated and add it to the chart there, so the graph. We'll see how far it goes up. It's going to go up. And you know, folks, the $10 was a minimum suggested donation, and if you'd really like to put more in the kitty baths before you go, I'd really appreciate it, because that's partly what we're about. I'm going to turn it over to Jason, who's you're from the AIDS Network, right?
Yeah, the Act 5 Steering Committee.
Okay, he's part of the Act 5 Steering Committee. He's going to tell you a little bit more about the AIDS Network and what we're doing here. So, thank you.